Alright, so hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today, by the title, we are doing the very overdue book video. We are doing all my 5-star book recommendations. In this video, I'm super excited. I have added actually quite a few onto my 5-star reads this year already. So I'm really excited. We have a pretty hefty stash here of books. These aren't even all of it. This is just a little bit. But yeah, I'm adding my 5 stars on here and then my almost 5-star books in here. So this is my recommendations video. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the information of the books and also just like the books in general. So we're just going to jump into this. If you guys have any suggestions for books you think I will like, definitely comment them down below. I have still a lot of books to go through on my shelf to read, so we're getting there. I want to at least read 100 books this year, so we can do it. We can get through it, guys. We're just gonna jump into the books for what I recommend for you guys and what my favorite books are. These have hit me like so deeply. Honestly, to get on my 5-star book like list, it has to be good. So yeah, we're just gonna jump straight into it and all of that. I'm very excited. So let's get into the recommendations. Should I do it by author or just randomly? I guess I'll do it by author. I'll just do it how I piled it up. Alright, so these are actually my 5-star books. So first two here we have are from the Dreamland Billionaires series by Lauren Asher. Lauren Asher is one of my favorite authors ever. She's brilliant. I love her. I love her writing style and just like the way it just draws you in so well, and I just love her books. But this is the series. The Fine Print is the first book in the series. I am so bad at describing books because it's been a while since I read this one. Okay, anyways, so The Fine Print is kind of like, it's like a Disneyland retell, but like it just, yeah. So Rowan, the main character, he owns like this whole like Disney World type of thing, like this theme park and stuff. Anyways, so he ended up hiring this girl Zara, and she like designs stuff in the whole park and stuff. So yeah, she works for him, so it is like a workplace romance, forced proximity type of thing. Anyways, so they end up kind of like working together. He's like a grumpy son. It's also a grumpy sunshine, which is just so cute. I love it. He's a billionaire, like he's rich. I don't know why rich men get me, like they just something about them. In books I love them. But yeah, she ends up getting hired by him and they end up like working close together, and then he ends up kissing her. It's not a spoiler alert, it's literally on the back of the book. He ends up kissing her and he's like, oh my god, what did I do? Like, she works for me. Anyways, they end up kind of like, because they work together, they obviously see each other a lot. And so yeah, again, grumpy sunshine, very cute. It's like I don't want to like say too much just because I don't want to spoil it. Also, I haven't read this one in a while, so yeah, but this is the first one. And then the second one in the series is called Terms and Conditions. I love this one. So it's actually a 3-book series, but the 3rd book hasn't come out yet. This one is his brother, Declan. I love Declan. He is so beautiful. Again, he's a billionaire and he is the CEO, or he's supposed to be the CEO for this whole like empire with like the park, the theme park and all that. But anyways, he has to get married in order to get like his position and all that. Basically, he has an inheritance and their grandfather gave each of the siblings like things. Oh, so that's it. The grandfather passed away and he gave each of the siblings like a list of things that they need to do in order to get their inheritance. So in this book, he has to get married in order to become CEO. The thing is, like, he can't get married because he keeps chasing all these women away. But yeah, his assistant is helping him find a partner and he just keeps chasing them away. So she comes up with this crazy idea of why not pretending to, like, why don't they get married? So this is a workplace romance as well as a fake dating, because they end up like being fake engaged and all that. So they have to marry and they have to pull this off, and they have to be married, I think, for a certain amount of time. Anyways, so yeah, he's just like, he doesn't want to be in a relationship. Like, he just wants the money. Like, he's not interested in love. And she's such like a cutie, like sweetheart. She's willing to help him. But yeah, so this one's really cute. I think this one's an age gap as well. But yeah, super cute. I love this series. I'm sorry if that was a really bad description. I just don't want to give it away. But yeah, this one's like a fake dating trope. This one's like forced proximity. They're both workplace romances. But these were just so cute. They hit differently. They just, There are some trigger warnings, so just look them up if you're reading it. But yeah, this series it's in my heart, and I can't wait for the third book to come out in this. I just love Lauren Asher. She's so good. Alright, so the next one here, again, it's by Lauren Asher. This is in another series. This is from the Dirty Air series. Guys, Formula One racing, literally beautiful. These are the last two books in the series. The first two books is Throttled and Collided. I love those, but they weren't in my 5 stars. Like, these gave me the feels in all type of way, which is why I gave these a 5 star. This third book here is called Wrecked. This is the third book in the series. Guys, this one, I absolutely love this. This is literally, like, so beautiful. This is a workplace romance, as well as enemies to lovers, and forced proximity as well. It's like a sports romance. If you don't know what F1 racing is, it's like a race car. Like, look it up, okay? It has an amazing amount of banter. It's just, this one's so good. So basically, the main character, Elena, is like a what's it called? She's a PR lady, okay? So she like helps deal with stuff, and Jax, which is the main character, is literally like, he has so much stuff going on. Also, this book has trigger warnings, so just look that up as well. He just ruined his image and his career, and basically the Formula One people are like, you need to get your shit together or else you gotta go. So he needs a new PR person to help him like fix his reputation. So Elena ends up coming in the picture. They've already met in the previous books, but yeah, they can't stand each other. Like, he's like, I don't want a babysitter, like, I don't need this. He's like, just let me live my life, like, I want to ruin. He's just going through a lot, so he kind of just wants to just destroy his entire like life and career, and she's like, no, like, we can't do this, like, we need to fix you. They both have secrets to hide though, so, and they both are struggling with things, so they're kind of like, yeah, they end up kind of like hanging out more. But yeah, I love this book. This crushed me so hard. I literally felt, I was crying like when I was reading this. But yeah, this is literally so beautiful, and I think he's British. Yeah, he's British. So like, let me get myself a British man. Anyways, Jax has my heart, and I love him in this. Alright, so the next one here is the fourth book in the series that I just talked about. This is called Redeemed. Again, it's from the Dirty Air series. This one is so good, you guys. This one's like a grumpy sunshine as well as fake dating. I absolutely love this. So basically, again, all these books are Formula One racers. So the main character, Santiago, was a Formula One racer, but something devastating happened in his career, so he ended up stop racing and all that. Yeah, he moved to Europe, and so he kind of like fell off the earth. He's going through a lot. Again, this has trigger warnings in it, so definitely look that up. Doesn't talk to anyone. Like, he literally is like, he just doesn't want to interact with anyone. But yeah, the other main character, Chloe, she lives in the States, but she wants to meet her long-lost father, and she ends up going to Europe, and she ends up actually meeting Santiago by accident. Anyways, they end up like, it just, the way they like meet is just like really weird but so cute, and it's just, yeah, anyways, so they end up meeting, and they have like this whole thing going on. Basically, they accidentally just kind of fell into each other's lives, and she ended up being kind of like the sunshine that he needed in his darkness. Like, he was really going through a lot. They end up fake dating because his family comes to visit, and like, she's like, and she ended up being there, so yeah, anyways, yeah, it was just, this one was really cute. Honestly, I love this one so much, and I didn't like Santiago in the beginning. Like, I actually couldn't stand him in the first two books, but this book made me fall in love with him. He had the most character development and growth in the books, and I absolutely love his character. Ugh, this one just is so cute. I love it. Alright, the next one we have here is Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. So, this book was not what I expected when I read it at all. I thought it was like, it is brother's best friend, but in a different way. This one has a lot of trigger warnings in it, like really badly, so definitely look this up. But yeah, this one I was like, oh, it's gonna be a cute little like brother's best friend. No, it is not. It is not that at all. But yeah, this book was so devastating and painful. Basically, the two characters met on Valentine's Day, and they were planning on actually ending their lives on that day. Like I said, there's a lot of trigger warnings in this, so I would just look it up. But yeah, basically, they decided that they weren't going to do it because they met that. They just thought it was fate that they met that one year, and so they decided that they would meet up, like, on Valentine's Day. until school, and every Valentine's Day until school ended, just to check on each other. They wouldn't talk in school, like they just didn't interact at all. But yeah, they ended up keeping their promise for 3 years and meeting up, and then on the 4th year something happened, and the girl ended up having to deal with the, you know, the outcome of all of it, and she ends up meeting the one guy's brother. And yeah, this one I went through all the motions. This one's kind of like an enemies to lovers, brother's best friend, I don't even, like, age gap. Like, this one has so much, I don't even know. This one, I went through a roller coaster reading this. It was not what I expected at all. Yeah, again, this has a lot of trigger warnings in it, but I love this book. This one was like 1,000 out of, like, literally amazing. And yeah, it was just, yeah, I don't even know what to say. All right, so the next one we have here is 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I read this one like a while ago, but this book crushed me. Okay, this is a YA book. It is very, like, cute and, like, but it's not at the same time. It's actually, like, pain in my soul. But basically these two kids meet when they're younger, so it's kind of like childhood lovers, second chance at love. There's just a lot that happens, but basically, yeah, these two characters meet when they're kids, and they end up just growing up together. They're, like, tight. Like, they're tight. So the one character ends up going away, like, randomly for her dad's work, and she leaves her best friend behind. They end up, like, falling in love and stuff, but she ends up falling off the face of the earth. Like, she stopped messaging him, she stopped responding to him. Basically, she just stopped talking to him, and she basically broke his heart. Anyway, she comes back to the States, and they are now teenagers, and they're in high school, and then he finds out why she stopped talking to him, and oh, it was just, this book was a roller coaster of rides. I didn't know what I was getting into when I read this, but this book filled my heart. It is such a wholesome book, and it's very innocent, and, like, some people can say it's, like, immature, but it was just so wholesome and cute and beautiful. This book will have a special, like, place in my heart always. This literally is, like, one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. Like, it's just, oh, guys, I can't say a lot about this book without spoiling it, so just take my word for it. It's so beautiful, and it's, oh my god, it's pain. All right, guys, we are coming on to the next author. I have a few of her books. I have 5 of them. Colleen Hoover. She's the queen of pain, and honestly, I haven't given one of her books less than a 5-star. All of her books to me are 5 stars. I think these are the only ones that I have read. Yeah, I've only read these ones. I took a break because her books were just too painful. I, like, literally physically could not do it. But now I'm on, like, another binger reading her books. So we're going to go through my 5 stars from Colleen Hoover. Thank you, Queen, for giving me trauma. Okay, let's start into it. So the first one here, this is my number 1 favorite book from Colleen Hoover. It is Reminders of Him. Guys, this book, again, we have trigger warnings. All of these books have trigger warnings in it, so I'm just going to put that out there. But yeah, this book literally crushed me. Again, it was so beautifully written, but it was so difficult to read. So basically, the main character, Kenna, ended up serving 5 years in prison for something that happened, and she ended up actually being pregnant while in prison, and I can't even talk about this without freaking... She ended up giving birth while in prison and stuff, and she has a 4-year-old daughter that she wants to reconnect with because they took her away. They actually ended up giving her daughter to her significant other's grandparents, but they don't want her to see her, like, kid at all. So yeah, she's trying to, like, reconnect with her daughter, but she has all these obstacles trying to, like, get in her way of seeing her. Anyway, so she ends up meeting this guy, Ledger, and he's a bar owner, and he's actually connected to her daughter in some way. And so yeah, ends up being, like, a really big part in, but yeah, she's just trying to overcome, like, her past obstacles, but she wants to have a future with her daughter. And there's just, like, a lot of things. This one, guys, I don't know how to explain this one without, like, ruining it, but you have to read this. This book is, this book was literally, I think this is, like, my number 1 book of all time. Like, of all time, which is crazy for me. But yeah, I love this book so much. like my top 5 books, this is my number 1. I love this book so much. But yeah, definitely read it. I usually don't read Colleen Hoover's books, like what they're about at all. I literally go into her books blind-eyed, and I feel like that's the best way to do it for me personally, just because I don't like to be spoiled. So all of Colleen Hoover's books, I don't know what they're about. I literally just read them, and then I end up being traumatized, but it's fine. The next one we have here is Ugly Love. I feel like everyone has read Ugly Love. It took me so long to read this book because I was so scared to read it. But yeah, this one, again, we have trigger warnings in it, but this one's a brother's best friends, not enemies to lovers, but they also don't like each other, but they do like each other. It's just, yeah. So basically, Tate Collins is the main character. She ends up moving in with her brother, and the first night that she ends up being there, she meets this guy. He's like a weirdo. He's drunk outside of her brother's apartment. That guy ends up being her brother's best friend. He just has gone through a lot, and that's Miles. But Miles is actually like a pilot. Yeah, they can't really stand each other. Like, they don't like each other, but they're physically attracted to each other. So they have this perfect idea. Let's do a friends with benefits, but without the friends. Like, we don't like each other, but we want to sleep together. So that's basically what happens. Yeah, so they're secretly like sleeping together and stuff. And Miles has this rules, like, don't ask for a future and don't ask about the past and we'll be fine. Obviously that doesn't work. I don't know if friends with benefits ever works out, especially if they're not friends. Anyways, feelings are obviously end up coming into the picture. But yeah, this one was, I was not expecting what happened in this book. I honestly, this one goes a lot between the past and the present. So the next one we have is It Ends With Us. Again, I feel like everyone has read It Ends With Us. Literally, oh my god, she's actually coming out with this sequel to this called It Starts With Us. So I definitely recommend reading this book. They also are making this into a movie soon. So, and the guy from Jane the Virgin is directing it. So, Justin, hi. Beautiful. But yeah, this one is so amazing. Again, we have trigger warnings in this, so I definitely read that up. Basically, Lily hasn't had it easy her whole life. She ends up like graduating from college and all that, and she starts her own business. She meets Ryle, like her first night in town or in Boston or whatever. Ryle is like a neurosurgeon and stuff. Like, he's very like put together, and he's got his shit together, okay? Anyways, so she ends up being like in this new relationship and stuff, but her old love, Atlas, ends up coming into the picture. He was like her childhood lover. Like, anyway, she ends up meeting up with him again, and so she's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain this. Basically, she's like stuck in the past, but like she's trying to get with this future, but things from the past just keep coming up in different types of ways in new situations. I don't even know how to explain this. Yeah, but this just like, this hits differently, guys. I was scared to read this, and I know why now, because when I read it, but I couldn't put it down. Like, I binged this book in one night. I could not put it down. But yeah, that one, amazing. Okay, 2 more books from Colleen Hoover, not for this whole thing. I actually just recently read these books. Like I said, I've been on a Colleen Hoover binger. All Your Perfects here is so beautiful. I literally, God, all her books just make me like not be able to breathe at all when I'm reading it. Like, you know when you're like crying and trying to read, but you can't see, but you want to finish reading? That's what I was doing throughout all these books. So this one, I'm trying to explain this one. When I was trying to explain this, it was really, it was throughout the door. Basically these 2 characters meet because their significant others are cheating on them with each other. So they meet outside of their apartment, and they find their significant others cheating on them with each other. Yeah, so they end up meeting that night, and they don't stay in contact for a little bit, but they end up being married in the future. So this again goes between the past and the future, the past and the present. So yeah, they end up in the present being married and stuff, but they're dealing with a lot of like stuff in their marriage. Like, basically their marriage is just falling apart. So it kind of just, this just shows like the difficulties of marriage and like what can happen, but also like showing them in the past why they fell in love with each other and all of that. But yeah, this one is just, yeah, this one was rough. This one was really rough. It just can, yeah, I don't know, this one can just this one can This damaged me. I can't even talk about these books because they honestly damaged me so much. Okay, next we have November 9th. Another one here, you guys. This one, I absolutely I'm getting makeup on my books from like hitting my head with them. This one was so beautiful. Again, it goes from it kind of goes to the past to the present, but not really. Anyway, so these two characters meet on November 9th of one year, and they end up making this whole thing of, we aren't going to talk for the entire year, but on November 9th, we're going to meet up at the exact same place, the same time, and like they're going to tell each other about what happens throughout the year. They end up giving each other stuff to do throughout the years, and I think they did this for like 4, 5, I don't know. They end up doing, like, they do this for quite a few years. I don't know, guys, I don't know how I'm supposed to explain this. They end up having like this type of, it's like a weird relationship, but yeah, they just end up kind of like catching feelings, but like they only see each other once a year, and then things end up happening. That's the best way to explain this, is that they meet up every year on November 9th. I know it sounds so weird, but it's just, yeah, it's such a beautiful love story. I love this one. And this one like really made me like go back and forth with, like, I really was like contemplating like what was going on in my head with this one. This one made me feel a lot of things. That was that. Okay, the next one here we have is Better Than the Movies. Guys, we're on to happier things. Like this one, I love this one. This is in my top 5s for my 5 stars. This again, it's a YA book. This is my favorite book ever. Lynn Painter, I think she's my new favorite author because I actually love this book. It made me go through all the motions. Like, guys, I was crying, I was happy, I was laughing, like I was giddy. Like this book made me feel like these were happening to me. Like as I was reading it, I literally felt like I was the character, and like it just, I was the main character in this book when I was reading it. But guys, this book is so cute. It's childhood friends, also next door neighbors, also fake dating, and not enemies to lovers, but guys, it's just so, I think, guys, if I could just have like my love life in a book, this would be it. I loved this so much. Main character Liz and Wes live right next to each other. They've lived each other next door like their entire lives, but they have like this banter going on constantly, guys. Like they like each other as friends, but at the same time they don't. Like they kind of can't stand each other, so they're always like arguing, but like jokingly in the same way. I just love like the making fun of each other type of thing. I think it's the cutest thing, especially when it's like flirting involved. But yeah, I loved this. Anyways, so Liz's old crush ends up coming into town, and she's like, oh my god, like this is fate. Like she literally thinks her life is a movie, and she like wants this whole romance. Why is that me, honestly? Yeah, her old crush ends up coming into time. She's like, this is fate, like I'm meant to be with him, but he doesn't really like see her like that. Like he's just like in his own la la land. So she asked Wes for his help because Wes is friends with this guy. So she's like, I need your help. Like I need to convince this guy that I'm not like the weirdo I used to be when we were younger. If this isn't me, I don't know what is it. But yeah, so she ends up asking Wes to help her. So they end up kind of like fake dating. He's like trying to get her and this guy together, but at the same time, this guy's like so oblivious. But yeah, they end up spending a whole bunch of time together. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. She wants this guy to ask her to prom, but like, so they go on this whole mission trying to like convince this guy to fall for her, but they end up spending a lot of time together. I love this book. This book, I don't know, like I was not thinking I was gonna cry reading this, but I cried like happy tears reading this. Like I was like, but also like I was in pain reading it. Like, but this book was like, the fact that I cried over this, and I was like, I read this and my family was like, what is wrong with you? I think I'm deprived of love, you guys. I think that's what it is. Okay, these are kind of 5 stars. They're like they're like almost at 5 stars. They're not quite there, but they're close enough, so I thought I would include them. I'm sorry, my allergies are so bad. Yeah, pollen and me aren't friends. Okay, so the next books we have here is the, what is this? The St. Michael's Duet. I was trying to figure out what the series was called. It is a 2-book The first one is called Interference. This is a brother's best friend. Again, I thought this was going to be like some cute kind of like type of book. It is cute, but it's also like there's a lot of shit that goes in here. Again, we have trigger warnings in here just to be aware. But yeah, she ends up, it's her brother's best friend. They end up, this one I really love, this brother's best friend. I love the brother's best friend trope. That's one of my favorite tropes other than enemies to lovers. So I really love that one. But yeah, this one's brother's best friend, and they end up kind of like, she gets older and he starts noticing her, and then he's like, oh, like all of a sudden he's like, I'm interested in her. They end up I don't know. She's been always like, she always had a crush on him and stuff. But they end up kind of like seeing each other, and then there's a lot of stuff that happens. He plays baseball, so it's also like a sports romance in a way. But yeah, this one was so good. I absolutely I don't know how to explain it. Just, it's brother's best friend. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but there's also triggers in here. They kind of have a lot of like things that they deal with. Well, the main character guy does. He just has a lot that he's dealing with in life. So yeah, anyways, that happens. And it ends off on a cliffhanger, but that's where the second book comes in. This is just the continuation of the first book, so there's not really much I can go on. This one is, so this one's the past, and then this one's the present. So this one's like when they're teenagers and stuff, and then this one's like when they're adults. A few years later go by, and then they meet each other again. So that's what this one's about, but it kind of goes between the past and the present. Anyways, so that is these two books. I loved it. Yeah, this one hit differently. Again, there's trigger warnings in it, so just look them up. Alright, so the last one we have here is Wait for You by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I love Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've read this book like maybe 2 or 3 times, but honestly, it's been a minute. I read it at the beginning of the year. Tell me why, I can't remember what it's about. But yeah, I read this one the first time, like, I'm gonna say like 4 years ago I read this for the first time, and I fell in love with it. But basically the main character, Avery, ends up moving away from her hometown because something traumatic really happened to her. This also has trigger warnings, so just to let you guys know. But yeah, something really traumatic happens to her, so she ends up moving away for college, and she meets this guy. His name's Cameron. Yeah, Cameron Hamilton, and he's like a super like beautiful, he's just, okay, he's it. He's the it boy. Like, he's just very known in the college. And they end up just meeting each other, and they kind of just become friends. They actually end up being neighbors next to each other, so they end up just hanging out, being friends and stuff. And he like was always like she obviously was attracted to him, but he like really liked her, and she was always like, no, like I'm not really ready. Like, she just wanted to be friends. They ended up kind of like having a connection and hanging out more and stuff. But she has a lot of stuff that she needs to overcome, and he kind of like helps her overcome those situations and all that. But also she like pushes him away. So yeah, this one was really cute. Again, it had a lot, like it had trigger warnings in it. So, but this one was really, I don't know, the main character in this, the guy was just so, I loved him. He was just so wonderful. Yeah, guys, that was the 5 stars, my 5 stars. I'm sorry if I'm really bad at describing them. I haven't read a lot of these in like over 6 months, I want to say. Well, yeah, more. Like, I've only read maybe a couple recently, so I'm sorry if my memory's kind of foggy. It's been a hot minute, but leave your guys' suggestions for books in the comments down below. I hope you guys, that was loud. I hope y'all liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you like me, subscribe down below. Also, if you guys want me to do other book videos, like I think I'm going to do a YA book recommendations next, because I actually have a lot that I actually enjoyed. So I will do that one, I think, next. I don't have a lot of YA. Well, I haven't read all of them. I should probably read it before I do that. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below. But I love y'all. Don't forget to love yourself. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Peace out, scouts. Bye.